This is Merle Rutledge, the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia, the firebrand, the no longer business as usual Republican, the not so typical Republican. And of course, this is my Facebook Live time, and this is called a different type of series. This is called The Hard Way. And this lets people know exactly what I've been through during the campaign trail and stuff like that. And it lets people know that I'm very real and down to earth, where most people or most politicians try not to show you that light because they feel like they have to have this perfect image. One of the things about me, I don't care anything about perfect image. I care about me being me 100% of the time. So my good days and my bad days, you won't feel it. I want you to feel it because I want you to know I'm a human being. I just was speaking to Teresa Langill, and she had this very interesting statement. I'm going to tell you this one. And she says, well, I'm always saying ordinary people are extraordinary people. That's really touched me today. You know, some days is normally my day to get refreshed, get energized, get some spiritual cleansing and more. And also, I understand I plan on not being perfect the next week, but I try my best to get better over time. That's one of the things I do. Now, she also said, you think like so many of us. And she's a Republican out of Virginia Beach. And I responded back, because I am. No better and no worse, just making my own way. This is an American story. That's what it is for me on this campaign trail. It's an American story. It's about a politician. It's about a patriot. It's about America. It's about those who are still fighting for it. And the whole point of it is to make people aware that, no, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to pretend to be something that you're not, because everything that you're pretending not to be on the campaign trail, it's going to come back to you. So being perfect or acting like you're too good and all this other stuff, it has cost us a lot during this time period. So this is how my story started for those, and it's called The Hard Way. And it's going to continue to build up and up, because as my campaign grows, I want people, when they come back researching and finding out about me more and more, not just giving the fiery speeches or the great, aura or energy that I bring. I want you to get personal with me and understand that I'm not no different than anybody else. I just got a heart and a toughness that says I'm not going to be silent. I'm going to continue to fight. God put me in this situation for me to do the very best that I can. And I understand even more each and every day why he put these, trials and tribulations in my life, why he put all these obstacles in my life. And each time frame, he has made a way for me to get out of it. Not only that, but to be a better person in the long run. And I see why he did it. God already has my life set in whatever way it's going to go. And one of the things, when you've been away from the church and you've been away from his will, you go into an opposite side, and that's when the devil starts consuming your life. But one of the things about being a testimony, and this is what my campaign is, it's about testimony. It's like basically saying, yeah, God ain't through with me yet, but at the same time period, you still have to take on the day-to-day situations and make the best decisions that you can along the way. That's all you can ask for. And then during that time frame, once you stay God in his way, you start exactly seeing the vision. You exactly start seeing what he has planned and in store for you. And one thing, before I even got on the campaign trail, I really went to God before I even made the decision and stuff like that. And it was crystal clear. He was like, you're going to have it as hard as hell, but I need for you, because I chose you to get into this campaign. I chose you to be the leadership Virginia needs, because he's like, America's going to see it. Being on the biggest stage, you have fought for people all your life. You haven't quit where others quit. You have went above and beyond the call of duty, putting a personal sacrifice to yourself. And all during this time period, you have managed to stay consistent. You have managed to stay consistently imperfect, but you have always shown that you have a heart that's so genuine that goes unmatched. And there's plenty of people like that, but they sometimes need leadership. They sometimes need those in the flesh that I have put there, so others can see that it's okay to speak up. You're taking the hits and the persecution and more that I need for you to take, and you still fighting where others would have quit. So I need for those people who took a little hits from before and say, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. If he's giving the praise to God, I need to start giving the praise to God. That lets you know. So when I said I'm going the hard way, understand that started from the beginning. Because everything I had to accomplish, everything I had to do, it was an obstacle along the way. It was a roadblock along the way. And I could tell you, it was time periods where I said I couldn't get past it. And a lot of time frames, once I did get past it, I said, how in the hell did I do it? I can tell you that. You know, I haven't been rich. I haven't been always on the straight and narrow. But also at the same time frame, neither has anybody I ever met. I don't care how good they look in the suit. I don't care how great they smile at you. I don't care what they look like. I can tell you off the break, some people have an image that ain't really them. It's just what they present to the public. But everything that happens in the dark comes out to the light. And even though you try to, you know, maneuver it or spin it into any kind of way, the truth is still the truth. You know, and the thing is, are you going to still sit on your ass because you got your feelings hurt or your ego got a little bit diminished, or are you going to step up and do the right thing and let people know that this is not going to be the end of it? So when I started the campaign trail, like I told you, I went to God first, and then after that making the announcement that I'm running for governor of Virginia. And trust me, it was a whole lot of people saying, you ain't gonna make it, you ain't gonna be no good, you gonna run Republican, you gonna be somebody under Trump, you gonna be around them races, all this other crap. Every single thing a negative. And God told me that already. Everything that you are going to do starting this up is going to be completely negative from the very people you used to go to or trust to be your encouragement, because they don't like what you're doing. And you're going to start seeing fake friends. You're going to start seeing those who ain't really had your back like you had theirs. You start seeing who was real and who's been fake, because if they know who you are as a character, not by the color of your skin, but who you are as far as the person they know, they should give you more respect than that. And that ain't my problem, because God was basically saying, move them out the way. Get them out the way, out your life. Those ain't the ones for you. Because when you were doing something for them, and this is for everybody, it seems like when you're doing something for somebody and you are doing exactly what you want them to do, they're going to be your friend. They're going to be your best buddy. But the second that you come real with them and tell them the truth, that's when you're going to find out who your friends is and who they aren't. Because you could have walked out of their life a lot sooner. But because of the person you are, you don't walk out on people that's a friend. But those who you consider may be a friend will quickly walk out on you. That ain't a friend. That's somebody who God needed to get out your way, because sometimes these friends are holding you back, period. And you gotta be careful of those type of people in your life, no matter what. And they could be your best friend and find out they was your worst enemy. That's how the devil works. Because the devil will get somebody as close as possible to you, because they want you, when they betray you or turn on you, the devil wants you to become part of the devil's plan, because he wants you to go ahead and get revenge. He wants you to go ahead and get even. And with God and the Lord, if you follow in church or go to church, even from growing up, we all know that our Lord and Savior said, let vengeance be his. You see what I'm saying? And I have noticed everybody who has turned against me, even this week, has all had problems. They have all had their real life stuff come out on them. And I said to myself, I sit back and I'm like, God is showing me once again that he has the victory. You don't have to keep fighting that. So when I first got on the campaign trail, I got a fight from Theodore Whitlow. He was following me. He found out I was running for office. He hates Trump, and he lets you know clearly he's independent, but he favors democratic ideals. So I said I did not want it the easy way. I told Theodore Whitlow, he asked me did I want the questions ahead of time before I came up there. And I told him, which he was shocked about, I said I don't want the questions. I wanted no holds barred. I don't want it planned, nothing. I don't want to be scripted. I don't want to seem like these other candidates because they see it all the time. Right now, I'm going to do it my way. And he's like, you sure? And I'm like, I'm sure. So the day comes for me to go up to Harrisonburg, Virginia to meet up with, I forgot, Breaking Something News or whatever, or Breakthrough News, something like that. But that first interview, a lot of people have to see, you know, but it's been out there since the beginning. And I went back and forth with him directly. Every time Frank, he needed a gotcha moment or whatever. And at the end, he has a lot of respect for me. He still don't like Trump, you know, and we could go back and forth all day. I'm not changing my support because as a friend, as a real person as I am, I'm not going to turn my back on what I believe in for nobody. You know what I'm saying? Because I see a truth that you haven't seen, but you're going to see it through me one way or the other. And eventually, everybody else has to make it known where they stand. So President Trump still has to make it known and convince people of where he stands. But I also, at the same time frame, have to know where I stand. You know what I'm saying? So for me being that solid rock for not only the Republican Party, but for other conservatives like me and those who consider themselves ordinary and stuff like that, I'm just like you. But you may get a little bit bothered by somebody attacking Trump and you don't know how to answer those questions or respond. That ain't those people's fault that's attacking you and you feeling down on yourself. The thing is, you got to make yourself constantly and continuously educated and be ready to respond. That's why I tell my voters and supporters, and I tell people, regardless if you're Democrat or Independent, whoever you are, become educated and informed and make your own independent decision. If you can only support a party, but you don't know why you are in that party or supporting that party, that's not other people who are telling you the truth's fault. That's your fault for keeping yourself from lacking knowledge and lacking a reason to be there. There's nothing I support that I don't know for myself and I can't explain to another voter or another person why I support it. Whether you agree or disagree, that's another thing. But they're going to respect the fact that you know why you're a Republican. You know why you support Trump. And you can explain it. We got politicians right now, even Republicans right now, even rhinos right now, that can't even explain that, but they can explain this. I'm pro-gun, I'm pro-2A, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-business, they're for lowering taxes. What else? Why do you support this? Why do you support that? Can you please explain it? And they'll say, let me think about it. How's that supposed to convince new voters? So Theodore Whitlow will probably tell you, hey, I don't like Merle Rutledge for his support of Trump. But he's going to say, I like Merle Rutledge because he sticks to his guns. You know, he didn't switch up for nobody. He'll probably say, if I'm at that ballot box, I'm going to have a hard time voting for a Democrat when I know Merle Rutledge came and met me on my home turf, showed up and showed his ass. And I can tell you I love it. So after the meeting, the news interview with Breaking Through and stuff like that, I'm going to put that interview back up, to be honest about it, because it really shows for historical purposes my first interview. And during that first interview, I learned a lot from it. because I learned the questions that was going to come at me. I then knew some of the attacks, but I knew it from a different direction. And I said, even though that interview went good, it allowed me to say, I'm going to make sure I'm be even better the next time. And I said, God put that interview for me and allowed people to see the real me, but at the same time frame, it showed at the same time frame I stick to my guns. And I was proud of myself after that interview because I said, exactly, I know why I'm in the Republican Party after that interview. So what ended up happening, right after Harrisonburg, I had to drive all the way to Lynchburg and Amherst County, which was about maybe a 2 hour, maybe a little bit more, because when you don't know where you're going and you're going by GPS, it takes you longer compared to when you know how to get somewhere from different directions. And this interview, a lot of people don't realize, there's a picture that's up there on a lot of my pages. It's me and Vance Wilkins. It's an older white gentleman, and the picture I use a lot that you see on campaign bulletins and flyers is what other groups and other organizations and individuals created for me at no charge. They did it at no charge because they believed in my views and position, and of course they wanted to help out, which also led me to see what God was talking about. Everything you need is going to be provided for you. Stop worrying about the money. You're going to have the money whenever you need to go somewhere. And don't worry about that stuff, because you start talking that way, you start talking for yourself. You ain't representing anything to do with me if you start going that direction. So I understood that, because it makes you corrupt. People going to help you out throughout this campaign because they want to. They believe in you. They see you. So what you see in that picture with me and Vance Wilkins, I travel out from the 6th district down to the 5th district. This happens all in one day. Now, Vance Wilkins and the 5th district invited me for a meeting for me to speak. At the time frame, the meeting got pulled because I was going after the Danville Mayor, Alonzo Jones, the City Council, where my language got a lot foul because they've been screwing people over for years, and I got tired of it. Straight up. That was one of my bad days where I don't apologize for not one damn thing. The reason is because I kept it real 100% in that interview. That interview went all over Danville, all over Pennsylvania County about the corruption going on in Danville, and letting people know Democrats run that area. Every obstacle I went through came from Democrats, not Republicans. Republicans didn't even have power there. You know what I'm saying? They had meetings, but hardly anybody showed up. The real situation was between those who sat at home that didn't go to meetings and realistically not informed, wasn't trying to be informed. The only thing they saw was identity politics there in the good old boy system. The good old boy system isn't a white boy organization or a black guy organization. It is a bunch of people who don't care about the people but care about lining their pockets and going after anyone who exposes them. And I was the one exposing them in that area and didn't give a damn, because I saw exactly, you don't give a damn about the people who I speak up for, and you know that they are being done wrong, but y'all rather do everything to keep your foot down on it. And I said, I'm not playing that game. I was built stronger and tougher than that. So most of the time frame when I went to a meeting, it would always be lawyers in the room because they said, he's smart. Do you think they'll put lawyers in the room for somebody who is not educated or aware enough? That was basically because you're respected. But back to the point. So I get down to the 5th district and Amherst County, and I throw out Olive Branch. Me and Ginger Berg is talking at this time frame. Ginger Berg is a great woman. Trust me, I can say this. We get along because we use the same type of language. She is from New York. I'm from New Jersey when I first grew up, and we're used to being around real people. That's just the way it is, and we talk any kind of way we want to. And at the time frame, you know, she didn't inform me, but I was finding out from other people about how that meeting got pulled from me speaking at the Amherst County Republican Committee and what happened behind the scenes. And come to find out, it was people from different parts of the Republican Party going to Vance Wilkins, sending emails to tell them, pull the meeting. Pull it. Do not have this meeting. And sending them the video of me laying out Democrats. You'd think it would be because of Republicans. Me laying out Democrats. And I talk any kind of way I want to. You can't tell me how to talk, how to walk, how to act. So Vance Wilkins, under pressure, pulled the meeting. And then all my supporters was emailing Vance Wilkins saying, you need to have this meeting. You need to have this meeting, because at this time frame, I'm like, I'm going to show you I'm going to put up a fight. Because I'm not going to allow other people to dictate who I am in this campaign. And I'm going to make that very clear. So what ends up happening, I tell Ginger Bird, let's get an olive branch out there and have Vance Wilkins show up, because there was other members showing up for this meeting anyway. But this wasn't going to be an official Amherst County Republican Committee meeting, but this was going to be more so of a private meet and greet. So I said, have Vance Wilkins come. I had no idea or clue that Vance Wilkins was going to be at that meeting. So we meet up at TJ's Bar and Grill. At this meeting, I walk in, it's Ginger Bird, it's Janice Adcock, and trust me, me and Janice Adcock did not get along at first, but we get along like best friends right now. You know, we find out how each other's doing, we understand to make sure we check in, and whenever I'm being a badass Republican, I go to Janice Adcock to say how bad I'm being, and she's a faithful woman of God. And I can tell you that I go to people when I know I have my weeks. And I say exactly because I know how dirty and grimy this campaign is going to be. And sometimes you got to be reminded that you are also to be held accountable too. You also have to face the music too. And I know who to go to, because not everybody needs your business. I can tell you that. Ask Will Smith. Now, back to the point. So, we at this meeting, Vance Wilkins is there. He tells me exactly how he feels. I tell him exactly how I feel. And we squash it. Vance pays for my meal. You know what I'm saying? And we had the greatest conversation. Straight up strong, conservative, has known the party inside and out throughout the state. He gave me advice about the inner workings that I had never known before about the Republican Party. You know what I'm saying? I had a beer. He had sweet tea. And my coffee and my usual water, just to make sure I'm hydrated. Janice Adcock is there. She can't stay the whole time, but she wasn't even supposed to be at this meeting because she wasn't feeling well. She went out her way to make sure she showed up to this meeting and was by surprise. I love Janice, and I'm so pissed off. I never took a picture with her. I'll tell you truthfully. I took a picture with Vance, took a picture with Ginger. Janice, who I speak to a lot more often than most Republicans I speak to. We didn't get a picture, but she had to go. She still wasn't feeling well. We said a prayer, and then everybody went their own way. And then me and Vance and Ginger stayed around still talking, because at this time frame, I'm becoming a sponge, because I'm learning about everything I didn't know. And also at the same time frame, we are piecing up whatever happened to pull that meeting, because it was the first time frame I was supposed to address any Republican committee out there directly. And not only was the Republican committee from Amherst supposed to be there, it was also supposed to be members of the NAACP from that area as well. So it was my chance to actually bridge the divide of what type of Republican I'm coming in to be, and also expand out to new voters as well. But we put that to bed. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, if I need to go to Vance about any kind of questions I have to have, or to make a conscious decision, I get advice. I get advice from different directions, and then I still have to make the best decision moving forward, because I am the leader, and I still have to determine what direction my campaign goes into. So after that, me and Ginger stayed back, still talking about what's going on in the 5th District, what's going on in the 6th District. Everything is peace, everything is love, and now we can get back to business about running for, of course, governor, but also at the same time frame, these are the issues that you need to be aware of moving forward. That conversation with Ginger Bird and Vance Wilkins would set the precedence of my campaign as far as being prepared for issues that I was never even aware of that was going on, that I would have already been involved in had I known. So it let me know that the same problems that was going on in Danville or Chatham or Norfolk or whatever was going on in that district. And it was still the same old, meaning people wanted a reason to vote. People wanted a reason to go to the committee meeting. People wanted to change up what was going on, because guess what? We lost a decade pretty much right now in basically having any influence on what goes on here in Virginia. That's why we have the socialism and the practices going on right now that has us masked up. So after that meeting, this is all in the same day. This is what I'm talking about, going the hard way. After that would lead me right to Danville, Virginia, which of course was the area in which I laid out the mayor, laid out the rest of the city council, and never gonna apologize for that, because they don't deserve it. They deserve to apologize to me. That's how I look at it. But I said I'm not gonna worry about that, because God's gonna make that happen anyway. So at the same time frame, I drive about another 2 hours down the road. This is all happening the same day. And then I get to Danville. Soon as I get to Danville, I go check into my hotel, and then I go over to Kickback Jacks. The reception I got at that time period of people saying, "I'm so glad you spoke up for me. I did not know you was doing this and that." It all started resonating, because as I was running for governor, people started telling the stories of how I helped the community that didn't even know about it. Whether they was white, black, Hispanic, whatever it may be. They was like, "Yes, I did not know you spoke up for us in this type of way," or whatever. So that grassroots and that effort to go ahead and block out all that negative, people started seeing the positive and the uplift of exactly why I was in this campaign. And that's why they embraced me the way that they do, because they're saying, you was an ordinary person. You wasn't an elected official. You wasn't connected in the good old boy system. You was just doing stuff for people, but the newspapers didn't write about it, because that's what people did. They read the newspaper. Even down in those areas, the newspaper is probably bigger than the cell phone. And the cell phone's only time frame really for people is for drama, gossip, and all this other stuff. But when people are voters and people are paying attention to the issues that are going on affecting everybody's life, they go to a newspaper, and if that newspaper writes you up in a certain way, you'll notice all the good work I've done, whether it was Solismore Park, whether it was fighting against bullying, whether I was fighting against a sexual assault victim, whether it was fighting for practices going on with police, whether it was fighting over taxes being increased, or fighting over so many different issues of people from low-income housing all the way to those with wealth. Because I had people come to me who was rich as I don't know what, but they was getting red tape because the councils and the rest of them had their own contractors or their own businesses right there that was fixed into their pocket. So it was a situation of not fair play, but monopolies over whoever gave out the most campaign cash. We got fed up. That's what happened. The south side of Virginia got fed up. So that's why when I say it's Rutledge country in a particular area, I go there. This is one of the areas I'm going to tell you about. Danville, I had no security. I'm not armed. And if I want to be armed, I can be. But they treat me like a human being. I'm not the governor's candidate in the south side of Virginia to them. I am the one who spoke up for them when they didn't have nobody to speak up for them for. So wherever I go, I'm getting love. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't for the newspaper. It was because of my character and the things that I do. That's why the newspaper, when they wrote up all that crap, if you read it more into detail, you'll find out that he was fighting for citizens who had no voice, and he paid the price that he shouldn't have paid for. But at the same time frame, none of that broke me. None of that. Now, The very people, and I can say this, that tried to do harm to me, now their character is being looked at. Now what's in the dark with them is coming to light. You know what happened with Christy Clay, the one who set up the unauthorized practice of law, all that stuff, now having over a dozen felonies that would be back from the time period in which that setup happened. You see what I'm saying? God fixes things because it's in his plan and in his will. When situations were tough enough for me this year, notice he was letting me know, I'm fixing this. Don't worry about it. You keep running your race. Stop worrying about the viewers. Stop worrying about the naysayers, because you already had them in your life before. You already dealt with them in your life before. They ain't nothing new. What I still got you focused on is because them demon Democrats right now is still working on taking away exactly what I put there in America and trying to take it all down, take it away. And I said exactly, I sent you in, the not so perfect Republican, the not so typical Republican. I put it into your hands to make sure that you send the message that all that they tried to do to you, how they tried to spin the news, the liberal media, all that crap, you noticing now you're more powerful than that because it is in my will. That's exactly what God said. So they're going to keep bringing this stuff back up. But guess what? Those who are looking for leadership, those who are looking for the fact that I speak for them, they know all of that is crap. But the thing is, that's making them fight for me even more, because they have experienced what I have experienced, but they used to be silent where I was speaking up. And now those who used to be silent is now saying enough is enough, because I'm continuing to fight. When they thought I was dropping out the race, they said, I hope he doesn't drop out. I hope he doesn't drop out. And you never heard it from me. You get it? You never heard it from me. I said exactly, I'm going to still stay running, still stay doing what I'm doing, because I don't owe it to myself and my flesh to do what I just want to do. I'm doing exactly what God wants me to do. And God never said drop out. God said go ahead and make sure you make things right, because you owe it and you deserve to go ahead and make sure you continue this fight, because you got too many people who depend on it. Everything right now rests on my campaign. My campaign of making sure people who've been bullied, those who've been silent, people who have had their past torn and shredded by those who don't care nothing about their welfare, and those who feel like they gotta be perfect to be in a certain place. That means basically you're playing identity politics of the politicians, Democrats, Republicans, and independents, because you're saying unless they're at your level, they should not be able to have a voice. They should not be able to represent the people. But the very people that they should be representing is the people who have been at that fight, at their doorstep, still doing a job that you can't do while you up there in Richmond having lobbyists. Those people in those districts deserve to have a representative that come from those districts, that live in those districts, that's going through the struggle with them in those districts, and saying that we want our voices heard, not by somebody who has left us a long time ago and continues to use their name but doesn't even have a plan to address what's really going on here in America, here in Virginia. That's the hard way. So when people see my campaign, and I want you to get fired up. Every time frame I say I'm doing it the hard way. That means I dealt with all of that. All of that. All the naysayers, all the media, whatever, all these different cities, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Charlottesville, all over this country, New Jersey, Michigan, Florida, participating in those issues because I'm a fighter for the people, not the fighter for politicians. That's what the lobbyist is for. That's what Big Pharma is for. That's what controls the Democrats to do what they do is for. I don't operate with none of them. That's why you can see all these special interest groups and all these different influences, but you don't see God donating money to them. You don't see God within their campaign disclosures. You don't see God into how they make it each and every day, how they wake up each and every day. So when I need to disclose how much money my campaign is raising, I might as well disclose that God has provided it for me every single day. That's the reason why Merle Rutledge is running for 2021 Virginia governor. I'm not doing it to be perfect. God ain't through with me yet. I got a long way to go. And I said, each and every day that I wake up, each and every day that I breathe, I'm going to always say, before I get started talking to the Virginia people, before I get started talking to America, that God is good all the time. And you are seeing it now. Well, so right after this speech, this hallway, because this series is going to keep going on, because I want people to keep copies of this. I want them to keep it in their records, even when they need that talk, to get themselves pumped up to say, this ain't over. God always tells you that. This ain't over. You going to be the testimony. But you got to fix yourself. You got to put in that work. That's exactly what I had to do during this campaign. Fix myself. Put in the work. But always keep it 100. Because people need to know I'm just like them. Whether you Democrat, Republican, or Independent, I used to be blind. That's why I'm Democrat. Now I can see. That's why I'm Republican. See what I'm saying? Hey, I wasn't the smartest one in the class. I just had more heart and soul to say I wasn't going to be the dumbest one. I had more heart and soul not to say I got an education. I had the heart and soul to say I was going to apply it. See what I'm saying? Because, see, the books don't mean nothing if you ain't going to use what you learn from. Being here on the planet ain't nothing if you ain't going to help your family and those who come before you and those after it. That's why we all here, to make each other's lives better and be a testament to how good God is and give him the glory, so that our youth and those who will later be those who lead, that they know what it takes to be somebody of the people and not somebody of the politicians. And that's the message we always have to give, because that's exactly what's ruining America right now. That's what it is. Because people are so stuck on self, stuck on pride, stuck on being perfect, stuck on being what somebody else tells them to be. I'm not stuck on that. I know I'm not going to be perfect. I know it's going to be good and bad days. I know what it comes with this campaign, because I've been dealing with it for all my life. Because the campaign for me to become governor of Virginia didn't start in 2018. It started as soon as my mother was pro-life enough to make sure I was able to live my life and go ahead and see things for the way it is, and also be aware and be disciplined enough to carry myself in a manner that gave me the conscience to make decisions for me to still be here on this planet. That was because she had a prayer that kept on going, a prayer that never failed, a prayer that continued to make sure me and my family was safe, and that very few bonds was broken throughout time. I can say, without a shadow of a doubt, that Merle Rutledge is here in this campaign, here speaking for the people throughout all his life, never perfect, not trying to be, because the world and my God gave enough about me to give me the opportunity to continue to fight. And that's exactly what I want Americans to do. Continue to fight and know exactly what you're fighting for. People talk about the Civil War and all that stuff, but at least those soldiers, whether it was Union or the Confederacy or those who was in the middle, they knew exactly what they was fighting for. That's the difference between all of these type of groups that's out there, and none of them know what they're fighting for. They just know what is the appearance of it. Isn't that exactly what you're doing for the politician? You don't know why you fighting for that politician. You fighting for the appearance of it. You fighting for what kind of benefits and gifts that politician can give you. You're not fighting for God. You're not fighting for a country. You're not fighting for your family. Because if you was fighting for them, you would know that politician was full of shit. Because I come from the country, and I can tell you, God ain't through with me. Because we call bullshit bullshit. I'm going to continue to fight the hard way. You want to get to know me as a candidate. I refuse to apologize to monsters and animals that I have said everything about them, because I knew that's exactly how you piss the devil off. So, to all of those, this is my first cut of the series, The Hard Way. The Merle Rutledge for Governor of Virginia campaign for 2021. Behind the scenes, how it all started. And I'm going to continue to do this all the way until it's all over. And I'm sitting up there on that stage giving out that inauguration speech. And the first thing out my mouth is going to say, God is good all the time. And I want you to put everything I've been through in life. I want it all out there. And I want it to be said. While I smile. While I give God the glory. And to get that great inauguration speech at the state capitol. And I want it all to be known. That God overcomes everything in everybody's life. And that's why our God and our country continues to be blessed. And that's one more thing I'm going to say at the end of this. Put our American flag back up there at the state capitol, because God blessed America. Not you politicians that have been getting luck by lining your pockets. Never in the day will we ever give up to the devil, nor will we give up for any terrorists or those monsters or animals out there that continues to prey on Virginia and those who feel that they're vulnerable but haven't had the courage to fight back. That's the threat of my campaign, giving those who don't have the courage, giving them the courage to fight back and join us. Because we all know how this ends. And we all know who gets the victory. It's time for you to find out for yourself what it takes for you to find yours. And with who gave you the glory. This is Merle Rutledge, the 2021 candidate for governor of Virginia, running for the Republican nomination. And you have yourself a blessed Sunday and continue to fight back for this country and our Lord and Savior, because He's always been fighting back for you.